You know what? The audio was not engaged. Okay, welcome back to Late Night Lately. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the late night podcast for the website cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Episode 24. My allergies are killing me. My voice sounds different. The dog won't stop bothering me. And dude, okay. Oh boy. I got a cut in my leg, my ankle, from the gym. And I didn't notice it until yesterday when I got home. And the dog just put his wet, disgusting nose on it. I also got a blood blister, which is fantastic. And something happened to my shin. I guess I was going way too hard. I did not mention this on the Constitutionals, which I literally just finished recording. But here we are. Allergies are killing me. And I will never be the same. All right, so fair warning, I don't have anything planned for this episode. I thought it'd be fun. I need to record an episode. 2 weeks have gone by, and now it's time to talk. Fred Armisen returned to the world of Late Night with Seth Meyers, and that was it's been fun just having him there all week. What are you doing, buddy? You know, it's really interesting. This is not interesting at all. A couple of days ago, there was a tornado warning in Georgia, and heavy rainstorms, floods, all that stuff. And the local news preempted. I cannot breathe. The local news preempted all of the NBC shows, so I missed out on Late Night with Seth Meyers on my YouTube TV. And I think the Tonight Show. I don't know. Anyway, I ended up having to watch that stuff online, like normal, like how people do it normally now. Tim Robinson and Amber Ruffin were guests this week. Jeremy Strong too. But it's amazing. It's fun. Again, I always say this. I always think this. It's fun seeing Seth Meyers talk to people he knows and talk to people that are funny and willing to be funny. Jeremy Strong's a great actor. It was a tough interview to sit through for Seth, but then when he gets to say Amber Ruffin and she's being silly, I mean, come on. Let's continue on with the NBC life. The Tonight Show had a pretty stellar week, if I may say, besides Dr. Phil Wilson. But Dwayne Johnson and Roman Reigns showed up to do an interview, talk about WWE and wrestling and all that stuff. I had no idea Roman Reigns and Dwayne Johnson were related. And also, Roman Reigns is a delight. He's very interesting. Very fun guy. Rebel Wilson showed up to talk about her book. Hillary Clinton was on as well for some reason. I don't know why. Jimmy's a funny guy. He's a fun guy, and he just wants to keep the fun alive. And I don't understand why people often. It's online. Why? Like, this is why I don't like having comments on in YouTube. That's why if I'm watching YouTube on my computer, it's great because I use ad block to turn off the comments. But on my phone and on the iPad, you can just see them right there, and it's just annoying. But anyway, Jimmy's a very funny guy, and he likes to keep things rolling. I don't know how long I've been recording. It's been 4 minutes. Okay. Okay, let's move on to Jimmy Kimmel Live. Move that up here. Kimmel had a stellar week. You know, it's interesting watching Kimmel do his monologues because sometimes he can get so fervently pointed and kind of pissed off at stuff that Trump does. And I really think that Jimmy Kimmel is funnier when he's needling like that because he can tell a lot of jokes that can truly just poke at someone's soul and should really hurt them if they're paying attention. this week, and I noticed that today's Thursday, so I noticed that in the Wednesday monologue. He also had James Corden on to talk about James's life that's back in England and the new podcast and everything, which I have not wanted to listen to. Billy Crystal came on this week, and he was just a very fantastic guy. I think Kimmel's monologues are very fun and funny. I'm not a huge fan of the man on the street stuff. I think they rely on that stuff too much. Speaking of Jimmy's relying on stuff too much, the Fallon has been, in the past couple of weeks, the writers have been very reliant. The monologue writers have been very reliant on a certain style of joke, and it's gonna sound like I'm picking and choosing here, but I can go to any one of the monologues from the week, and there's been like a style of joke where it's like somebody who's bald and looks like Mr. Clean is like says something, and then that person relates that to something else, and then another person comes in and says, "You look like Mr. Clean. I think I look like a gnome from those cookies," and then the whatever those things are, and they're like, "Oh, cookies is." I think I look like Cookie Monster. Cookie Monster. I think I look like a Monster. Things like that. It's just the same type of joke. I'm tired of discussing it. Then we'll move on to CBS, where After Midnight had a pretty stellar week too. They're really coming into a groove there, and I think it's great that After Midnight plays into the fact that no one's watching. That sounds mean, but like they should really play into that fact that they're on after midnight, and that they have just a gaggle of great comedians like Maria Bamford and Laurie Kilmartin and Jackie Cation, who had an episode. Also, for some reason, they had YouTuber Trevor Wallace, which I won't understand. But it's good that they're playing with these names and allowing these people to just tell jokes. Arda Marin's a funny person. I want to see her be a goofy little goofball. I would love to see more interactivity with the audience outside. Not the audience in studio, but the audience outside. The audience in studio has gotten to be, just like with At Midnight, very annoying. I'm sorry for the sniffs. I really am. I do apologize. I'm dying. The Late Show with Colbert, Stephen Colbert, was a pretty packed week as well. Steve Buscemi popped up, Gillian Anderson, and then of course they had Paramount's own Sonequa Martin Green to talk about the final season of Star Trek Discovery. It was a built week for them, but if anything, quiet. The beautiful Anna Waddingham. And then finally this week on the Daily Show. This is something they started doing last week. I think last week. I don't know if they it does not look like they did it before. But the show has, I don't know if it's because it's Easter, but they've been relying less on the outside correspondence, which is unfortunate because people need to work. But this last week they had Leslie Jones pop in on Thursday night, it looks like, or Wednesday night. They had Leslie Jones pop in and do a segment, basically a 9-minute segment that's about begging America not to elect Trump, and it was a great segment. It's a great piece, where it was her doing a desk piece, talking for 9 minutes straight to camera with clips and everything. So she's doing a package, not a package, excuse me. The package is an off-site thing. This week they had Charlemagne the God pop by and talk about DEI for 6 minutes. These are, if you notice anything, both Leslie and Charlemagne were two people. I cannot breathe. Were two people who hosted the show, The Daily Show, when they did not have. Well, they still don't have a host, but they hosted the show a couple of months ago, both for respective week. This is, I think this is what they're going to be doing for the rest of the year, on and off. I don't know if they're, I can't see them really doing this every single week, especially if they utilize their correspondents correctly. They only have 5, and they're all going to be hosting, so you might as well. Ronnie, Desi, Jordan, Dulce, then the other 2. So they have 6. And then they also have Lewis Black, who's still there. And then these other hosts that came in. It seems like they're in a groove right now. I wish there have been, for the past couple of weeks, especially with Jon Stewart's episodes, but they have done it with the other correspondent, and Michael Costa, excuse me. Oh boy, I forgot Michael Costa. But they've been doing this with John's episodes on Monday nights. They've been giving him like a 15-minute monologue, 10 to 15-minute monologue, and then having his the rest of the episode be interviews. What happened to the correspondent packages? What happened to the stand-up bits where correspondents are out on location? We need more of that. There needs to be interplay. We can't pretend that these people are off on an island by themselves, because we know they're not. Because the whole deal of The Daily Show is that there is an interconnectivity between people. And also, same thing with after midnight. Let's quiet that crowd down. Because the Lena Khan interview with the FTC chairman, the Federal Trade Commission chairman, Lena Khan was on Monday's show. And John had a great 21-minute conversation with her. And even though he was telling jokes and it was appropriate for people to laugh at that point, I mean, sometimes it just became too raucous. Like that dog back there. So you'll see the clips I pull. I don't know what clips I'm going to talk about, or post in the thing, but whatever. I didn't do a monologue because I was stiffly. All right, what I wanted to talk about was nothing. I have nothing to talk about, and I've got to do at least 8 more minutes. What I want to talk about is late night in general. Let's do a late night report card. We haven't done one of those in a long time, and that was on the other show. So late night report card. Here we go. I don't have a theme song for that or anything, but Maverick, stop, man. Jiminy Christmas. So I just discussed all of the late night shows and for the week and what they've been doing. Seth is in the middle of a 10-year and so is Fallon, a 10-year anniversary. Kimmel is probably ending the near of his term as a host. Colbert's winning the ratings battles, if that's anything. And After Midnight is the newbie, and Last Week Tonight is just winning the awards battles. These shows, I think right now, are the best that they can be. More, it's unfortunate that more time can't be spent on some aspects of these shows, including, having writers experiment with things, because it's as much as these shows are for broadcast, they're mostly for the streaming world now, and YouTube and TikTok, if anything. And and as much as they're in a groove, they're also kind of very predictable. You're going to get 3 closer looks a week with Seth Meyers. You're probably going to get them Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. You're going to get, some games that are hit or miss with Fallon. You're going to get Man of the Street stuff with Kimmel. And every so often you'll get a Meanwhile with Stephen Colbert. But is that helping? I'm getting real comfortable here. Got my leg up. Got my arm resting on my knee. is that helping the show, any of these shows? And I say yes. Did the audio turn up? I'm so sorry. The microphone, I nudged with the knob. I should not have done that. That might be the title of the episode. Nudge with the knob. But is that really helping? Are those things helping the shows in general? I think so. Yes. However, it would be great to see these shows expand past, hey, we need to reach an audience that is online. And that's, or just only online. That's part of the reason why things like Seth did surprise inspections this week. And that's just great to hear 10 minutes of him just destroying his writers' bad jokes. And it's fun seeing Stephen Colbert do a live show because it harkens back to, even when Jimmy Kimmel was doing live to tape at like whatever time, 7 or 8 p.m., whatever he was doing it then. And I also would love to see more emphasis on the comedy stuff. Because for Kimmel, they don't really have prepared things. They have the monologue, and then sometimes they'll have, a writer will come out and do a little bit of a bit. But I would love to see Kimmel expand past this man on the street stuff. And yeah, it's fun, but it's also easy. I would love to expand. I'd love to see him expand past his man on the street stuff, and really go into a kind of sketch territory, because the pranks are great, but let's move on from those. And also musical and stand-up guests. Let's have someone perform music. Let's have someone do stand-up. I know these things don't do well online, but it's interesting to. It's not interesting. It's good to still have something that harkens back to the days of Johnny and Jack Parr and the rest of the hosts who in Letterman. As soon as Letterman and Leno and Conan. I don't think I've ever seen a Leno Tonight Show. I've seen clips. What was my first episode of Letterman? My first episode of Letterman was the one where it rained so hard there and there was like a flood in New York, and Denzel Washington showed up, and there was no audience. They told the audience to stay at home. That was my first episode. My first episode of Kimmel was I knew who Jimmy Kimmel was. And I was like, I watched the Man Show reruns on G4 TV, and I was always like, "This the Man Show guy has a late night show. Whoa, I gotta watch it." And it just so happened his Uncle Frank died, so that was my first episode after Uncle Frank died. I still think there is a space for late night, even though it seems that we're in the twilight years of late night in general, but we're not saying companies give up on it as much as the Late Show should still exist. At least Paramount still has a decent, if not cheap, offering of After Midnight, which is the spinoff of At Midnight or the sequel series, whatever. It's all good. It's all good, and there's different flavors for everybody, but late night is still valid in this world. That's why Greg Gutfeld's over there on Fox News doing his show, because they need their own vocal pieces. That's why Graham Norton's still popular. Well, Graham Norton's still popular because it's a great show. There's nothing captures the magic quite like Graham Norton. Well, I mean, I think what I think it is. It's because he has all the guests out there and they're all talking, and there's And there's I've used this word before, interplay. Let's get some more. Let's let people stay. Let people should stay, not let. People should stay. If I was the A guest, I would definitely stay for the B guest. I don't care who it is. I'm like, oh, let me talk to this person too. Let me be along with this person. Everybody's so busy. We're the get up and gold culture. What's going on? Anyway, that's the late night report card. A short one for you today. Hey, listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where I talk to your favorite famous people. You can watch a video version of this show on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. I don't think I promoted the video versions on YouTube on the constitutionals I just recorded. And you can also watch the video versions of the other podcasts, where you can also subscribe to the other podcasts. LinkedIn Logs, which is the job podcast, and the Constitutionals podcast, which is the premier entertainment, business, news podcast for ya, baby. You can follow us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at C Plus Comedy. Follow me at Chad Black White. Rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, and God, I'm gonna blow. It's not even. It's my nose is just stopped up. Can't even talk. Okay.